Hi everyone. So social matrices. So we're talking about observations and we're now up to, well, I don't even know what we are, part 7 of our observing children in family daycare. So we've already covered off anecdotal records, children's artwork, videos, photos, recordings, progress notes, running records, and now we're up to social matrices. So social matrices, they come from actually they're known as a whole lot of different titles, names, those sorts of things. I call it a social matrix. And all it is, you just grab yourself a piece of paper, whether it's in the child's scrapbook or whatever that is, and you say here, that TM, that could be the child's initials, whatever that is. So it would say TM here. You might say went to play with SM and TS and stayed there for 5 minutes. And then that child went on after that and they played with whoever, or they did whatever. So going back to if you did the running records video, going back to the running records, sometimes if we're looking at social dynamics in family daycare between the children and the groups and those sorts of things, this social matrix, once you map this out, so you might find, okay, he stayed 5 minutes here, he stayed 10 minutes here, and then after that 10 minutes he moved on. So you end up with this kind of dynamic of children's movements, how they're moving in and out of the program. So then you might say, okay, 10 minutes there, and then they went to an isolated thing, which TM stayed by himself there, or TM stayed by himself there for the following 20 minutes. So you might say, okay, this could be, depending on now, you would have obviously the name, the date. You might even have the day, because the day is really useful. So often with days, you might find there is a consistency around Monday's behaviour because, like the weekend and they've done all sorts of things. So it could be the day, it could be Fridays. Often children, particularly school-age children, by Friday, they're just wrecked. They may not be at their best by Friday afternoon. So, this could be, you might say that, okay, typically by a Friday afternoon, child TM is really tired by this stage. So we see that he comes in, he does some socialising really early on once he's in there, and once afternoon tea's done and all those sorts of things, he goes off to sit by himself or do stuff by himself, and he's okay with that and everybody's okay with that. But that's what he needs. He needs that time out during that period. And you may find that if you're reflecting on running records or anecdotal records or those sorts of things, that this social matrix will help you put together the child's movements throughout the program and throughout the group of children that you have. Now, this is really useful, particularly in family daycare, because you have small groups, the relationships within those groups can be quite powerful. Whereas if you compare that to maybe a long daycare centre, the children in long daycare can move away a little bit more freely from other children, whereas sometimes in family daycare they can't. That could be the space, it could be, a whole range of reasons. So these children might be a little bit contained in that social group or that care group or that group that you've got, or whatever your terminology is. So this can help you figure out sometimes if this works really well for children probably 3.5, 4 upwards. Not so much for younger children. I probably wouldn't be worried too much about this for younger children, but definitely for older children, I would want to know, once they get to that 3.5, where they're building those social relationships and their plays changing and they're more interested in friendships and relationships and those sorts of things. This is really good to see where they're trying to find their place in your group. So great little tip to figure out who's where and who's doing what. So definitely do one of these on each of your children. You don't need to do these much. You could do these once every 3 months even, depending on the age of the child, once every 6 months maybe, depending on the age of the child, depending on changes in the group even. So it would be up to you when you would do this, but this is a really, really good tool to capture where children move throughout the program, within the groups, within the relationships, and then again, you reflect on this, and if you take 1, 2, and you combine all the other types of observations that I've told you, and then again, you reflect on everything, and this is your critical reflection now we're getting at. If you look at all of this, alongside all of your documentation, you should be able to see all of this. So we've talked about that in each of the videos right now. So if you've missed what this is, go back over the previous videos and catch up there. So this really does help you in family daycare figure out any social dynamics in your groups. So good luck with that. Hopefully we'll talk soon. I'm going to pop some links in here about further information, further resources, all those sorts of things. If you need to get in touch about your program or anything along those lines, feel free to let me know. We'll talk. See ya. Bye.